So far in this training series, we've spent a lot of time talking about the unsheltered population and managing risks while working at a current or former encampment. But today is all about you. Personal wellness is the subject of today's module in the special training series, Safety in the Right of Way for MnDOT staff and people experiencing homelessness. I'm Ray from the People Incorporated Training Institute, and here in the mental health field, we spend a lot of time talking about how to keep our mind and bodies healthy in a stressful work environment. We've been talking about the impact of stress on others in previous training modules, but today we'll go a little deeper into managing impacts to our own health and personal wellness. In any kind of job, we all experience work stresses, and every person has their own unique life stresses. So we know how these kinds of stress can wear us down. But there is another kind of stress to be aware of. I'm talking about secondary traumatic stress, and it is different than usual work stresses or stress from your personal life. Secondary traumatic stress is the emotional impact that comes from witnessing someone else's suffering. When we see and hear about the stress or trauma that is happening to someone else, it has a separate effect on us that can lead to emotional burnout. When witnessing a person suffering or listening to stories of trauma, we are likely to have feelings of empathy. When we empathize with someone experiencing trauma, it can register a stress response in our brain just from observing. This secondary stress can be manageable, or it can be damaging when it is experienced over a prolonged amount of time. It can even get to the point where we may have similar symptoms to the person who we observe experiencing trauma. Along with the various stress factors going on in our world today, many types of professionals experience this secondary traumatic stress while on the job. Medical staff and EMTs feel it. Law enforcement and military personnel experience it. People in the mental health field regularly deal with this secondary stress, which is also called vicarious stress. MnDOT workers, such as yourself, can also experience secondary traumatic stress when you witness another person's trauma, particularly around roadside work sites that are or were a homeless encampment. Observing other people experiencing trauma can take its toll, so self-care practices for personal wellness are the priority to avoiding burnout from secondary traumatic stress. Secondary trauma or vicarious stress can really wear on someone to the point where it can be hard to concentrate, sleep, or even have a desire to get up and go to work. Take some time to think about your stress levels and see what the signs of stress are that you have in your life. It's also helpful if you know how stress looks in your coworkers, so you can help them get support if they are struggling. There are common signs and symptoms of when stress is getting the best of us. Stress can show up physically like nausea, dizziness, headaches, difficulty sleeping, and muscle pain. Sometimes there are cognitive signs like difficulty concentrating or decision making, disturbing memories or nightmares, or even overactive thoughts on how to solve issues. Emotional signs are common too, feeling overwhelmed, hopeless, or helpless. Too much stress leads to feelings of anger, irritability, sadness, and even anxiety disorders. If you feel reduced empathy, hypersensitive, or insensitive to emotions, these could be signs of burnout from unmanaged stress. Many people also have social signs too, such as isolation and withdrawal, relationship conflicts, reduced pleasure in activities previously enjoyed, as well as reduced work satisfaction. It's so very important to be on top of stress because if it is constant or intense, it can affect your physical health. Long-term effects of chronic, unremitting stress include reduction in serotonin in your brain, which leads to increases in anxiety and depression or reduced social interaction. Your cardiovascular system is affected by stress with increases in stickiness of blood, increases of levels of fat in the bloodstream, increased blood pressure, and just your heart generally working harder when it's stressed. Another physical effect is reduced muscle tone, otherwise referred to as early aging, along with decreased immune system function under high periods of stress. To manage stress, nutrients are diverted away from the skin, leading to hair loss, dry skin, and brittle nails. It's all in one, a mind-body system. And if you only treat the symptoms, you're missing the point. So one big tip here is to start becoming aware of what your signs and symptoms are so you can practice self-care and improve your personal wellness. Although I've just spent the last few minutes talking about all the ways stress is bad for us, there is good news. We can do some simple things throughout our days to become more resilient and fight the effects of stress. These are simple things, but that doesn't mean it's going to be always easy to find the time or energy to do them. However, research shows if you do the self-care practices we're talking about next, you will have a healthier mind and body. Back in Module 3, Be Prepared, we talked about the colors blue and green to help us stay out of the red. Breathing and gratitude are important, but there are so many other ways to reduce stress. So here are a few of the common ones. On the blue side, we will review B for our structured breathing skills, but then the L helps us remember to laugh, which also engages the vagus nerve, which helps us de-stress. Unplugging from electronics has shown to reduce stress, and then the E represents encouragement. Either giving or receiving encouraging words fires up endorphins and oxytocin in your brain, and that helps reduce stress. Gratitude leads off on the green side, and then there's rest and exercise. If one doesn't work, try the other. Eating helps reduce stress, so a healthy diet is good for your brain, and anytime you spend appreciating nature helps bring down those nasty stress levels. Life is breath. Breath is life. Our breath circulates life force energy throughout our whole body. The breath has a direct effect on our state of mind. In fact, structured breathing, just like this, sends signals to our automatic nervous system to calm down when we are stressed and help avoid the fight or flight instinct. When feeling stressed, practice this 5-step structured breathing technique and increase your personal wellness in a quick minute. According to Harvard Health, in positive psychology research, gratitude is strongly and consistently associated with greater happiness. Gratitude helps people feel more positive emotions, to relish good experiences, improve their health, deal with adversity, and build strong relationships. Gratitude is a verb, so it is an action as well as a feeling. So here are some ways to cultivate gratitude and improve your personal wellness. People feel and express gratitude in multiple ways. They can think of positive memories or be thankful for fun things from their childhood. Gratitude is also in the present when we appreciate good fortune instead of taking things for granted as something that's expected. Gratitude can help reduce stress about the future by helping maintain a hopeful and optimistic attitude. Stress greatly affects people's sleep. 26% of women report trouble sleeping at least once a week, compared to just 16% of men. 19% of individuals, that's 1 out of 5 people aged 45 to 64, admit to losing sleep due to stress a few nights a week. A sleep-deprived brain works harder and accomplishes less than a well-rested brain. A sleep-deprived brain behaves similar to one that is intoxicated with alcohol. Change your relationship with sleep. Prepare for it carefully because an extra hour or two each night could be a dramatic benefit to your health. Avoid caffeine and food before bed. Get into a better rhythm with sleep at night and find a better rhythm to your daytime too. Sleep is just as important for resetting the brain as it is for recharging the body. When you add stress to a lack of sleep, it can lead to dangerous situations, especially in a job loaded with hazardous risks like the job you have. Besides rest, the best stress reducer in green is an E, and that's exercise. If a regular workout routine could be put in a pill, it would be the most successful drug ever produced. When you move your body, you burn off the stress causing hormones and chemicals. You don't have to go to the gym or buy some machine. You can play to get exercise. Dance around your living room or play an instrument. Sports are fun, and even tossing a ball or frisbee helps burn stress. It can be as easy as walking your dog a little bit further than before because any continued movement causes you to burn off stress chemicals in your body. Exercise doesn't have to be consecutive. Each little bit adds up. The other E in green is to eat. Eating can help get us out of that hangry feeling, but healthy eating choices also boost your body's immunity and naturally reduces stress. Choose a bag of almonds instead of chips, water instead of soda, fresh instead of boxed or canned food. Those choices are helpful because eating highly processed foods containing sodium, antibiotics, or artificial ingredients actually increases stress in your body. The brain consumes about 30% of our energy, and the brain can only function at its best when you have good nutrition. The N in the color green is for nature. Appreciating nature can be done at any time, and a major stress reducer is a practice called grounding. We have a natural rhythm with the earth called our circadian rhythm. And just by touching nature, we are in better alignment with that rhythm, which helps reduce stress and improves our sleep cycles. When you are feeling red, that is, running on empty drained, remember the ideas here of blue and green to help you de stress, be resilient, and improve your personal wellness. Now let's look at a couple other easy activities to help promote personal wellness. Music is another great stress buster. Humans have used these basic activities since the beginning of recorded time. Playing music, singing, humming, or just listening to music has been around in every culture ever studied anywhere. Another time-tested and proven way to reduce stress and improve overall personal wellness is meditation. It doesn't take long. You can do it anywhere. And even if you don't know how, try a guided meditation on YouTube and feel the stress slip away in seconds. And one more quick hack to calm down from extreme emotions is a splash of cold water. The splash of cold water triggers ancient instincts in our brain. When these instincts are triggered, our heart rate slows, blood is redirected towards our core to protect critical organs, and a host of other instincts come into play in anticipation of being underwater. You get all the benefits and calming effects without even having to go to a lake or pool with a simple splash of cold water on your face. Fortunately, you also have resources at work for confidential help with problems. Even if the problem is outside of work, you can call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year to the state's Employee Assistance Program. Use the EAP program even before a stressful situation pops up. Mental health concerns can be addressed at work also. Utilize this service at mylifematters.com. It's part of the benefits of working for MnDOT. Also, when a crisis arises, use the Critical Incident Stress Management team for a confidential service to help debrief work-related traumatic incidents and manage stress reactions. And in any situation that turns into a violent issue, it needs to be reported. Go to iHub and find this violent incident report form, which will help you cover all the bases just in case a violent incident has occurred. Now you know how secondary traumatic stress can affect you, and we've reviewed the signs and effects of stress. Now you're ready to practice the personal wellness strategies that we covered today. Remember to use blue and green when you are feeling in the red, and try using music, meditation, or a cool splash of water to manage stress and keep yourself at a low baseline stress level. That will help you be your best at work and at home, because we all have a stake in A to B.